you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
That's the prophet of Ahezaah and Holy Queen Mother Mary, Ahezaah's peace and other blessings in the presence. We want to thank you, the two audience, for watching our program this evening. And we hope you've been educated thus far from the programs you've watched that have been coming on. May you continue to watch, and that the Lord may bless you with some insight and some information to help you travel on your journey in the search of truth. With that being said, we're going to get into our program dealing with the topic of investigating truth. Those who profess of religions, the ways of life that are out there, whether it be Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, and etc., all say looking for truth, searching for the Lord, looking to understand His words, or sit down in His holy books. But many times they don't always truly understand what's being given to them for, whether it be their ministers or preachers and so forth and the like, expressing things or trying to explain the words of truth. And I'm finding out now from what Ahezaah has given us here in this community as I have believers that the only way to get it explained to us from the Lord, explaining it, we've been blessed to have a messenger that explains Ahezaah's words to us so we can get a better clarity, understanding our way of life better, and how to surrender to our Lord. With that, may anybody join in and maybe feel about the investigation of
to come to, I would say, in my experience, and I think in the experience of others, to come to the point of being graced with meeting truly enlightened one, a messenger for that matter, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, is for people to be sincere and diligent in their investigations, in their looking for truth, looking for reality within their religions, So a lot of times, most times, the people in their congregations, they'll get behind their leaders, whether it's an imam, whether it's a sheikh, whether it's a priest, whether it's a minister, and they're going to listen to just exactly what they've been told, or whether they understand it clearly or not, whether they're entertained or not. They're going to listen to the words, and from there, that's going to be the level of their religion, the level of their seeking, the level of their trying to find the reality of what it is that they're supposed to be searching for. So it's too much work. Investigation, true investigation.
Yeah.
If you have the time studying the languages, if you have the time certainly studying your own language, the language of English, using the dictionary to make sure you know what's being said as correctly as you understand it, or so that you can understand it more clearly. It's work. It should be a good work. It should be something that you're happy in if you're searching for truth. If you're truly a sincere seeker, it's something that you'll be happy in working. But many, and probably most, are lacking.
Let me say this here, since we're on this topic, is we had someone that had purchased a book, and they're reading the book, and they said that they stopped reading the book to investigate what was in the book.
Okay.
And we welcome that. My whole thing is...
We're talking about the precursor.
The precursor. My whole thing is that you need to investigate. You need to investigate that which you read and the things that people tell you. So this way, you have your own foundation to stand on truth as what you know it to be.
Right.
Now, in your investigation, a lot of people, and it just brought me back to things I was reading myself this week. A lot of people take and they want to investigate the person that wrote the book.
Yes.
Well, you done lost right then and there. Because everybody's a human being. You will have dislikes and likes about a human being.
Right.
But if you take that which we are presenting as coming from our Lord Most High, and you take those words, and you take that and you investigate it, then you're seeking the Lord and not seeking to obtain information on the individual which is coming through.
Right.
Because what people don't realize, you can learn from the devil.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You can learn good from the devil, because see, the devil don't present evil to everybody up front. Right. The devil sometimes come in a good package, so you could trust it, so then it could trick you.
Right.
You understand? And I think about Jim Jones and the people that have come with falsehood and how people didn't investigate them, and then they was led to hell. You know, so we welcome you to investigate that which our Lord is sending down onto you. You know, but you have to realize that you're not investigating us as individuals, because that's all we are, as individuals. You know, you're investigating the content of what the Lord has sent forth to you in this day and time. So we welcome you to come aboard to get into what we're talking about on this show. If you get a whole lot of literature, to read it and investigate it for yourself. There's nothing like seeking truth. Because if you go in sincerity in your investigation, your Lord will bless you and open up doors for you. And you're seeking it.
Funny that you mentioned that, because many times people, like you mentioned Jim Jones, for example, people like persons like that, people don't investigate them. They have large followings, so they must be what they say must be a truth, because he's got a big congregation. So we gotta look into it so deep. But when you hear someone mention that they're a messenger prophet, and it's a term that many Christian churches I've seen around this community everywhere have out on their church, but nobody's running behind them saying how they gonna prove it from the Lord. But as soon as the Holy Apostle comes on the scene, saying that he represents the Lord and not himself, now the investigation wanna come on him now. These are the people ain't been looked into so deep about what their background is like, what this person did. But as soon as he's saying, I'm coming from the Lord, and he always told us for years, when I'm calling you to the Lord going to turn you to me. But if I turn you to myself, then Allah going to turn you other than.
Lord Holy-Apostle, if I just may ask, when people are doing this investigation, how do you find that in between investigating the individual or investigating the words of the individual? I mean, where's it?
Okay, I have a. Let me try to cover all of this. First of all, you know, we seek donations for the book, for the word, for the pamphlets, for the literature, for the you know, or everything that we do for the purpose of trying to get more material for the people. You know, and I remember an individual. I won't call his name. But I had hopes for this individual. But when I gave him a money value, he said, I sound like I'm trying to rob the people. You know? And my Lord said to me, if you give this away free, people won't appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah. Because today people, they put their value on monetarily.
Right.
You know, they value things monetarily, and they don't know how to weigh wisdom.
Right.
Now, we try to give someone something to save his life, and he needs to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned robbery. You see, when he's already selling his soul, robbing his own self. You understand? Now, the investigation, we have a problem with people wanting to acquire information, want to acquire truth, the words of truth.
Okay.
But they don't want to acquire a relationship with the truth,
right,
which is the source of truth. We call the truth Al-Haq. The Muslims, Arabs call it Al-Haq. We call it the truth. The same thing, the Lord Most High. Mm-hmm. The reality of the Lord Most High. And the reality of all things. That is the truth. And people don't want that. They want the words. And that's why they can listen to their ministers and that be the height of their investigation or the height of their right, destination, their goal. Go to church, go to the synagogue, go to whatever kind of house of worship, and have a good time listening to the words and come out full of the spirit and emptiness. And when I say the spirit and emptiness, whatever spirit they get from that scenario, from that house of worship that they're in, because they're not all holy, but from that house of worship, whatever house of worship, every place you go has a spirit.
Right.
But you come out with the spirit, but the emptiness of truth.
Yes.
You see, now, when I first came out, you know, I've been here around for almost 28 years now. Like 27 and a half now. And people, first thing they said, he think he God. Right? And He's insane. He think he talks to the Lord. He think he talks to angels. This brother's whacked out. This brother is gone. Astaghfirullah.
Yeah.
Now, the Christians wasn't the ones coming. The Jews wasn't the ones coming. As a matter of fact, I used to talk to some Jews on the job I was working, and they was all ears.
Right.
All conversation. All information. We going back and forth for years. You know? And they were all up. And one individual told me, he said, I'm going to see you. I'm going to meet you on the political field. I'm going to meet you out there in the political field. He was going to school, some university for law and what have you, politics, political law or whatever. And I said, oh, no, you're not going to meet me on the political field because I'm not about politics. And I am not about politics. I will not vote.
Right.
And I've had people say, oh, terrible, you don't vote. If Ahezaah is to be voted for, then I'll vote.
Right.
Why should I vote for devils? The Lord has come to destroy this world. It has come to destroy the religions of this world. And politics is one of the religions of the world.
Yes.
Politics is a religion. Mm-hmm. And then you get people in government who was aside from the nation. Right. And many times when they talk about for national security, they're not talking about for the community of man in this nation, in these United States of America. They're talking about for the government of these United States of America. But the people so blind, they can't even see what they're saying. Mm-hmm. You understand? And how many politicians you know that were true?
Yeah.
You know? And any true man, religious man, or whatever, educated or whatever, that went into politics, what did he have to do? He had to join the game, didn't he? He had to start deceiving, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't stay straight.
Not
true for all if he tried.
You know? And how far will they let a true man go? You have people who are of the devil, they will investigate you to try to get some dirt on you so that they can let you rise. And I've had Caucasians in the gym and, people of high status of the secret organizations and open public organizations to tell me that they just want to get something on me so that they can let me in. I said, there's nothing for you to get on me. Now, my life has not been squeaky clean. But the beautiful thing about the Lord Most High is that you know it, and others in this community know it, people in our spiritual family know it, that I've told all about myself. The Lord has caused me to tell about myself. Mm-hmm. Write it down.
Right.
Because it said we're not going to leave room for people to try to write something other than what happened to this man. And we're not going to have anybody in this world to take claim of educating this man. See, nobody can take claim of educating me in religion.
Right.
No one. Mm-hmm. That's all due to the Lord Most High. Now, I seek the truth. I sought through the words of truth. And some people think the truth are the words of truth. The truth is more than the words of truth. Now, I mentioned about these people saying he think he's talking, he think he's God, he's talking to angels, he's talking to the Lord. That man is out of his mind. These are all Muslims who were saying this. And then they was talking about assassinating me. Because they couldn't deal with the level of truth I was bringing and the Lord sent down for them. Right. They couldn't hardly believe that a man could actually have a relationship with the unseen. Yet, in the Holy Quran, right up front, first things it's telling you is to believe in Allah and the unseen. You understand? So, how many of them believe in truth? Right. They want the words, but they don't want the actual being, the actual essence, the actual fact, or the factor of truth. Right. And see, the words of truth are a vehicle for us. That's not the hype. Right. I can understand why the Lord emptied me out and every other holy servant of it, it's holy messenger prophets, law-bearing messenger prophets. I can understand why it emptied us out. Because it's not the words. In the period between 1998 and this year, Ahezaah has given me practically 30 books. If you count the Divine Book of Recitation, which is like 10 or more books in itself, which is not completed, because we got to go back, and to my understanding, we're talking about 40 books since 1998. And I have a hard time getting off this book because the people read it and they want to run from it.
Right.
Because it's true. And all these other books that the Lord has sent down is full of education.
Yes.
And they don't know what they're missing.
No.
You see, but here we go with these Muslims who run and denounce what they read, but they listen to their imams and their ministers. And the same with other people in other religions. They listen to them and then they take them as holy.
Yeah.
You see, because people, instead of you going to clean the house, instead of you being responsible for cleaning the house, you'd rather clean the house, portions of it, and let somebody else be responsible for it. So if you don't do it, the job, you're not going to get in trouble. You are responsible. Mm-hmm. So they look at their religious leaders and say, well, I'm not responsible. I go by what he said. If I fall and go to the Lord, I said, hey, this is what the man told me. But the Lord said in the Holy Quran, the devil going to tell you, don't blame me.
Right.
Because I called you and the Lord called you. And the Lord is your Lord and my Lord too.
That's right.
Don't blame me if you turn this way.
I was going to ask, Lord, interesting, you were talking about the people falling behind their ministers and imams and leaders. I was thinking, those speakers, they play with the words of truth. They compromise the words of truth for the purpose of the listeners.
Yes.
So it's like
You have to understand something. Like I mentioned, this guy who was saying about, the Lord gave me instructions about what to seek for this organization. Right. Then we got people that come and try to tell me, well, you shouldn't seek this or you shouldn't seek that. Seek this, that, or the other. And they don't understand that I'm for real. I'm not one who can compromise. My Lord's not going to allow me to compromise. How can I compromise my Lord? That means I'm serving two lords.
Right.
You understand? I had a lady come in the office one day and she shook me up, and I'm not easily shaken. But she shook me up. She came in a rage. And she actually said, what are you doing? And I said, what? She said, what are you doing? She said, I'm trying to help the people. She said, no, what are you doing? She said, you have to learn how to speak to the people. You're speaking too high. And at that particular time, I was having concerns. I had been out there publicly, had the public office. I've been out publicly for a long time, but had the public office with the big sign up letting everybody know, here it is. And people didn't want the truth. And my first lesson back in 1979 is that people don't want the truth. That came from my family. When my blood family rejected me, rejected my Lord, rejected what I brought from the Lord Most High, and still to this day are cursed for rejecting many of them, some of them. You understand? But the thing about it is that I had concerns about speaking too high. I said, can the people understand me? I say a thing and then I say, oh Lord, please, Father, let me explain, and Ahezaah in His mercy, give me the words then and explain. And as you notice how I talk and how I write, I say a thing and here comes an explanation right in what I'm saying. And we got so many ways to say some of the same things. And you see Ahezaah's endless wisdom and information. And I tried hard for months to lower my way of speaking. And all I did was hurt myself. Because as my Lord giving me these things, I'm saying, okay, how can I say this in another way? How can I break it down? It's broke down to the fullest.
Right.
But people don't want meat. They want milk.
Right.
Right. And Jesus said, give milk to the babes and meat to the men.
Right. Give
milk to those who are undeveloped and give meat to those who are developed in their mind. You understand? And I found that all I'm doing is struggling for nothing, because no matter what I wanted to put down, the Lord would not let me put down but what He commanded of my hands to put down. Yeah, this lady got me fighting myself even more. And so that's why I employed you, and others like yourself. Speak to the people for me. Try to relate these things. But I know that no one can actually represent me. We talked about representing, I think, not long ago. And representing means to represent something. Like I'm only a sign of the Lord being represented. The Lord represents itself through me. It represents itself through my words that I speak. You see, that's the Lord representing itself. I can't represent the Lord. Just like you can't represent me. How can you represent me? You can represent the words that I spoke, but you can't represent the essence of those words. You can't bring the spirit of those words and grab hold of specific individuals that I may talk to at a particular time and bring a certain effect to them. You understand? But you can represent what you heard of the words and present your own self in the words. You see? So we talking about men and standing up in the pulpits all over the country, all over the world, talking about they representing the Lord. They're liars. They're liars. Only the Lord can represent itself. It can present itself and it can represent itself.
Curious question, Prophet. These liars. The question, I think I posed it different ways. Are they knowing liars or unknowing liars?
Well, you know yourself, you have liars. You have guys that have come even to you and have presented words that I've given them for years, and they've acted as though those were their words before you met me. Now, you know that these certain individuals were liars, right? Because people in their egos, you got people with egos. They go out and they don't want to say, well, I got this. Like everything I say, I give credit to the Lord Most High. I'm constantly in prayer and I'm constantly in worship and I'm constantly in submission. I don't know nothing else but that. And I give praise and credit to the Lord Most High for everything. You understand? But we have people who don't know about the ego and the enemy of the ego within themselves, and they want to be somebody, as they say. They want to appear to be powerful. You see? So they'll take Ahezaah's words from me, and then they'll go and rearrange them, and then act like they representing the power themselves. So now, are they knowingly doing this? Yes, they're knowingly doing it. You have those who are knowingly doing it. How much did you do unknowingly, directly, in violation of the Lord? Whenever you came to awareness, as long as you were sincere, didn't your conscience bother you if you did something wrong? You said, wait a minute, I don't feel right. Something ain't right. I'm wrong. Wait a minute. And then you go and look into yourself and say, wait a minute, this is the Lord bring you the answer. Now, if you ignore that, then what are you? You're a knowing liar. You are aware. Because let's break the word knowing down. Knowing is experiencing. They're all experiencing liars, but are they aware liars? Yeah. You have those who are aware, and then you have those who are unaware. And the ones who stay unaware are those who are broke from the connection of their spirit, of their soul, the voice of their souls. See, those are those who are cursed, and they will do things unaware. You got people call themselves holy reminders and all that stuff talking about the people need hope, and so they choose themselves to be the hope of the people, and they know that they follow a true messenger, and now they're not representing that messenger no more. They're representing themselves. And they just sent out people off in all different directions into politics. Like guy talking about get rid of all religious worship, symbols of worship. Get rid of all religious symbols of worship. Then he present a flag with the Quran on it. That's a symbol of worship. And then he present the United States of America flag. And that's a symbol of worship. And then he tell you, forget about what the messenger of Allah said. Join the military. Join politics. Women, you ain't got to dress like Muslims. You in America. You can wear business suits. Dress down. Come on. He's the reformer. He calls himself the reformer of the faith. Reforming what faith? Who told him to reform? And the word reform, to take that form away and form it again. Form it into something else. You see? So are they aware? Yes, they're aware. Do they believe in Ahezaah? Do they believe in Allah for real? They can't. They can't. Because if they truly believe, they would fear. With true belief comes fear. Because in wisdom there's fear. The Lord gives those whom they love fear of it. And it gives them love for it. To balance off that fear. And in that comes understanding of the truth. And with that comes faith. And even before that, you get blind faith. But to get the faith that you can see and understand, that is something very great. And then with that comes a realization of the truth. And you know, I waited for so many years for someone to become enlightened. Someone whom Allah, the unseen, beings of the unseen would speak to like it had been speaking to me. Just someone who can say, I bear witness to this level of him too. So Ahezaah has blessed this woman here to become enlightened. You understand? And fortunately, she's my partner, my friend, my wife, you know, and a lot of other things, you know. And but the thing about it is, her journey to Ahezaah was not with me. Her journey to Ahezaah was with herself alone. You see? And she's been tried, I believe, greater than anybody in our community. You know, because I'm a great trial for people. You know, people see me and say, oh, he can't be this, he can't be that. I'm a trial for him. And she's gone through those trials to see for herself. Then I need to speak to her. And I'm like, thank you to Ahezaah. Thank you, Father. Because Ahezaah has given me so many blessings in fulfilling this promise to me. And I say, now I have one who knows. You see? And she understands what truth is.
It's funny you mention it because part of the great blessing that I used to give in this community is that you and I want to try to hold one back. I'm sitting you on the investigation of truth on the journey to seek what I is saying of the reality.
Yeah, because I'm not the goal.
Right.
I'm not the goal like many ministers make themselves the goal.
Right.
You know, people say, I'm a student of Elijah. But, you know, like you see his picture and he's like up in the sky. They take his picture from up in the heights and make him seem great. You understand? I got on this suit and tie. She made me put on this suit and tie. I wanted to dress down and cool out. She made me put on the suit and tie. I said, what you worrying about the people, about what I look like? I'm tired. I've been out here 30 years. 27 and a half years in a monkey suit, trying to be in order and impress somebody so that they would listen to me. Say, well, he looks intelligent. Man, I am tired. That's the truth. That's words of the truth coming from the messenger. The messenger is tired of the people. Tired of the ignorance. Tired of the rejection. Tired, you trying to give them gold and they want fool's gold. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They want something that glitter more.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you